Okay, also for my dry skin, I have tried a few stick foundations. Like I have tried the Makeup Revolution stick foundation, did not work. I have tried the Anastasia one, did not work. I have tried some drugstore stick foundations, did not work. No, they just don't work for me. They do not work. They look cakey, they look heavy. They are, a lot of them are hard to blend out. I still need to try the Hourglass one. That is just one that is really expensive for a very little amount of foundation. And I just haven't bitten the bullet yet. But for my dry skin, stick foundations just don't work. So that's why you don't see any in this beautiful array of foundations. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about matte foundations for dry skin. What works, what doesn't. So let's make up. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about matte foundations for dry skin. And that sounds kind of like crazy, but I have really dry skin, as you all know, but I do sometimes like full coverage foundations or medium to full coverage. It depends on the day. Usually I go for the medium, dewy, physician's formula, healthy foundation type of coverage, but sometimes, just sometimes, I really like full coverage. Today I'm wearing a full coverage one, and I looked through my collection, if I could call it a collection of foundations, and I really like foundations. I really try to be mindful of what I buy, because if I let myself go, I really like foundations. I like to test them out. I like to see how they feel and all that. So I don't have a whole lot of foundations, but I have tried quite a bit. And these are, I was about to choke. And these are some that have really worked for me. So when we talk about, most of them have worked for me. Some of them have not. So we're going to be talking about what has worked and what hasn't. If we talk about foundations, we have to talk about primers, because when you like full coverage foundations and you like more of a matte or demi-matte finish, you really need to think about primer and what goes before you put on the foundation. So not only primer, but even before that, like your moisturizer and how you prep your face for a matte or demi-matte foundation. Because on dry skin, it can look really cakey, it can crack, the drill. So a lot of the times, dry skin prefers the more dewy foundation, more hydrating, but sometimes, like me, we know. Also, I've heard of like oily skin. My friends that have oily skin and people that I watch here on YouTube that have oily skin, they prefer a hydrating one. So just because you have one type of skin, dry, oily, or whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to stick to one type of foundation, right? Because it all depends on how you prep and then what you do before. So what I do before is I moisturize really well. When I know that I'm going to wear one of these, I moisturize really well. I put on my Cetaphil moisturizer. I usually go for an oil. I go for an oil primer, and I'm going to show you some of the primers that I like using with these matte foundations. So I like the Catrice Prime and Fine. This is smoothing. This is a Prime and Fine smoothing refiner, and this is new to me. It is just a paste. Let me see if this focuses. There it is. And it's not really hydrating, but it smooths out. It feels like the Tatcha one, the Silk Canvas, I think it's called. I can link it down below, but the Tatcha one is like $50-something, and I don't have that one, but I think this is pretty similar to that. And it smooths it gives you a smooth canvas. I can't talk. Okay, I also like the Flower in Your Prime hydrating primer. This is from Flower Beauty, and I will show let me see if that focuses. There it is. It's called This in Your Prime, and this is a really good primer. This primer is actually a mix of like silicone mattifying with hydration. It's kind of weird, I will tell you, but when you put it on, it smooths out and it hydrates. This is not a priming video, but it's so important to prime your face before you go on foundation, because that's how your foundation is going to react. You know, if you put a mattifying or a primer that doesn't hydrate your face, that can be a disaster with a matte foundation. I also use the Hydra Touch by NYX. You guys know that this is my very favorite one. This is my jam. I love this primer. I also sometimes use the RX by Too Faced, that is not focusing, the Hangover by Too Faced, and I also use the Angel Veil by NYX, and this Angel Veil primer is wonderful. It is not hydrating. It doesn't claim to be a hydrating primer, but it is skin perfecting. And so when you have a smooth canvas, these, the ones, or at least in my experience, these foundations have, done really well with smoothing primers like the Angel Veil and the Catrice one. Okay, so let's get into the foundations, because oh my gosh, that was a long introduction. Okay, also I love using, before I go, I love using a sponge, and I don't have my sponge here with me, but I use the L'Oreal sponge. 99.9% of the time I apply foundation with a sponge, especially matte foundations, because it just gives you that extra hydration with a damp sponge. It gives you that extra hydration. It, you know, it picks up extra product that you don't need on your face. And I usually spray it with my Smashbox primer water. Spray the sponge and then apply. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to go drugstore and then I'm going to go high end. Yeah. Okay, so the first one I got here is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. This foundation is a matte foundation. I have it in 2 shades because I totally messed up the first shade. I have it in Peach Natural and in Buff Bisque, and I mixed those two. This actually, I think I'm going to declutter. I don't use it very often. This one smells like paint, but I have a high-end one, and this is a dupe for that one. This foundation is really, really good. It's full coverage. You only need the tiniest bit to have that full coverage. And you got to be careful, because on dry skin, this one can cake up. Or at least on my dry skin, this one can look just really makeup-y and heavy. I like it. I don't love it on my skin. That's why I kind of don't use it very often. And I think I will declutter it. But it has this paddle applicator like this. Let me see if I can focus enough to do that. Let me see. Oh, it doesn't want to. There it is. It has that paddle applicator that I like. I like that one. This foundation smells like paint, but like I said, it can look makeup-y. You just have to be really sure to use a tiny bit, not just like pour it on your hand or dot it all over your face, and work in sections, because this one can look really makeup-y. Okay, so here I have this Super Stay Foundation by Maybelline. It's the 24-hour one. This is not a new foundation. This is, I think, a new packaging. I have it in, I need to put my glasses on. I have it in 130 Buff Beige, and it is a really good match for me. I have used the heck out of this foundation. I love this foundation. It is full coverage. I love the pump. I love the coverage on this. You can literally wear this from morning to night and it looks perfect. It does not move. You do have to set it. I am going to tell you which ones I set with powder and which ones I don't. The Wet n Wild one I do set with powder, but very light. All of these I set very, very lightly, if at all. We're going to talk about a couple that I don't set at all. This one, again, you use a tiny bit. I work in sections because it tends to dry fast. But this foundation I really, really love for dry skin, at least for my dry skin. If I hydrate well and if I do the steps that I told you with the moisturizer and the damp sponge, you know, with the Smashbox primer water, and with the primers that are hydrating, this looks really, really pretty. Like for Christmas now, for the different activities that we have, I think this is one that I will wear often. Like I said, I'm almost halfway done with it, and this one does not look heavy and makeup-y like this one can. This one on me, with all of these, you can't use tons of it. Like sometimes we see on YouTube, you know, that they wear so much, especially on me, because again, dry skin, mature skin, I have to be careful how I apply these. But this foundation has never looked makeup-y on me. I really love it. Okay, next is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation. This foundation, I wasn't very sure about it. It says that it's a full coverage foundation. And I will put links to all of these and the prices down below. I should have said the prices. This is, I think, $5.99. This one runs into like the $10.99, $11.99. This one, I think, is one of the most expensive ones, and is I think $13.99. Oh, it's not focusing. There it is. I think it's $13.99. I like the pump. I wear it in medium olive, and it is the perfect match. Out of all these foundations, this is the one that matches me perfectly. Like, it's too much. It's so, so good. Okay, so this foundation is perfection. I really like this one. Don't get me wrong. I like the Maybelline one. But this one, I do not have to set. This dries down matte, but it's not a dry, it will crack on you matte. This foundation, I wouldn't say that it is super full coverage. It's full coverage. It just goes to full coverage. I mean, you can build it up, of course, but I wouldn't recommend that with any of these foundations. But this one, you have to work in sections because it does dry really fast. So you work in sections and with your sponge. And this is so good. I've used a good portion of it. This is a newer one to me. And I grabbed this one when I'm in a hurry. I don't want to set. And I actually have the, oh, where is it? I have the, oh gosh, I can't find it right now. Anyways, I have the concealer that goes with this, and I will do a separate video on that. Okay, I don't want this video to be super, super long, so we're going to move on. This is one that I would totally recommend for dry skin, again, with all the prep and everything that we talked about. Okay, next is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation, and this is the one I am wearing today. This foundation is newer to me. Well, actually new, because I haven't had it for 2 weeks, I think. But for the 2 weeks that I've had it, I have worn it almost every day. I am wearing it today. It is, what time is it right now? It is 6:45 right now at night, and I put this on around 4, so I haven't had it on for too long, but this foundation lasts so well on me. It is not dewy, but it's also not drying. It does make you look HD. I really like this foundation. It says that it is mattifying second skin effect. The mattifying, I guess I prep my skin so well for matte foundations that I don't see that mattifying effect, but I do see the second skin effect. It is like second skin. I have not overdone this foundation ever. The only thing I don't like about this foundation is this dropper. I am not crazy about this at all. You have to either go like this, you know, like very Instagram type thing, you know, when they drop the oil on their face, or you have to like put it in the back of your hand. But if you try and go like that, it just, oh, it's a mess. So it's the one thing I don't like about this foundation, but everything else is great. This was $10.99 at Ulta, and I wear it in 040 Warm Beige. This is the darkest color available at Ulta. That is the other downside. That is the darkest color available. I don't like that at all, but I think online they may have more shades. Okay, so let's move on to high end, and I only have a few. First of all, I have the Born This Way foundation from Too Faced, and I had a little packet. This is a sample that I got, and before I committed to this foundation, I wanted to try it out. This was a disaster for me. This looked so bad. I prepped my skin like always. I used a sponge, hydrating primer, everything else. But this foundation, it says undetectable medium to full coverage foundation. I wouldn't say it's undetectable. It was very detectable on my face. I felt it. I felt this foundation on my face. It didn't look good. It just didn't. Around my eyes, it looked horrible. Around here, it looked bad. Used it twice. I wouldn't recommend that one, at least for me. It just didn't work. So I'm glad I didn't commit to that. Okay. Another one that I have here from Too Faced is the Peach Perfect Foundation. This foundation is a demi-matte finish, and it says oil-free, 14-hour wear, oil controlling, photo-friendly. All of this is right. This does not transfer. I wear this in light beige. This doesn't transfer. You can put this on, set it lightly. You can touch your face. It won't come off in your hands. It won't come off. It's really good. However, this looks really good for the first 4 or 5 hours. After that, it starts looking really, really dry on me. It starts sucking all the life out of my face, all the moisture out of my face. It says comfort matte. I would say that that is true for the first 4 to 5 hours. If you're gonna wear this longer, you know, just maybe you can have a spray that you can freshen it up with, and that might work. I haven't tried it like that. I should try it like that. But this is really good for the first 4 or 5 hours. After that, it starts looking really makeup-y on me. Okay, I have 2 more. Or actually, yeah, 2 more. I have this one from Becca. I bought this one at a sale at Ulta. It was on one of the clearance sales, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get that. I would not recommend this. This is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I wear it in, what is this? What is the shade? This is the shade Nude, and it is a really, really good match for me. I love the packaging. Becca packaging, of course, is really good. This retails for $44. The Peach Perfect retails for $36, I believe, and the Born This Way retails for $42, I believe. I'll leave it down below. Okay, so this foundation is just really heavy. Really, really heavy. It's like putting spackle on your face. It's just, even now swatching it, that's the swatch right there. Let me see if I can focus. There it is. It's just, is heavy. I mean, you would have to wear such a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of this to not make it look makeup-y and cakey. That is just not worth the hassle for me. I don't reach for this very often, if at all. So I don't know. Maybe that's why it was on sale. So I would not recommend the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. It says that it is maximum coverage. I would say, yeah, but I wouldn't recommend that one. Okay, and my very last one is a cult classic. I think everybody has heard about this. It is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I wear it in the shade Wheat. This has many, many shades. It has been around forever and a day. This pump is from MAC. This does not come with a pump. I bought this one at MAC. Again, I'm wearing the shade 3W1 Tawny, not Wheat, Tawny. It is a perfect match for me. The Wet n Wild foundation is a dead-on dupe for this. It even smells like it. They both smell like paint. But of course, I think I would, you know, go with this one over this one just because of the applicator, and I don't know. This has been hard for me to find a shade match that I really, really like. With this, I buy Tawny and that's it. However, this is pricey. This is $42. It lasts forever. What I found about the double wear is when I was younger, like in my 20s and 30s, I could not wear this foundation. It was so heavy and cakey on me. It was makeup-y. It just accentuated everything. But I also didn't know how to prep my skin very well. I didn't know about primers. You know, primers didn't exist at that time. I would just moisturize with whatever and put something on. And this just didn't work for me. I had to go for really light water-based foundations. There was a foundation that I used for years. It was the Revlon New Complexion, and it was water-based. It's discontinued. It had a gold cap. It didn't have a pump or anything. It just had a gold cap, and you had to like shake it and dot it. I love that foundation. But anyways, going back to this one I have found it says stay in place makeup. Yes, it stays in place. This does not move until you take it off. And I have found that this is like, which one was the one that I like this one, like the I Can't Stop Won't Stop by NYX. It is full coverage. It doesn't go way above full coverage. You can build it up. The one that comes with the doe foot applicator, I think it's called the Perfect something. I'll put it up here. That one I have swatched in store, and I think it's going to be very, very heavy on me as well. So I have tried a few, and I try not to commit because a lot of these are very expensive. And so these are the ones that have worked for me, that are matte, that I know are going to look good. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what is your favorite matte foundation. If you have oily skin, what's your favorite dewy foundation? And if you have dry skin, what is your favorite matte foundation, so that we can all learn. I will leave everything that I have on my face down below for you to go see if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. Stay joyfully beautiful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.